Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. We have two stories on the Nord Stream 1, Nord Stream 2 pipelines sabotage, terrorist act. One coming from a guy who has nothing to, apparently doesn't belong to any group, which is, I would say, Seymour Hersh, the investigative journalist, Pulitzer Prize winner, blah, blah, blah. I mentioned that just to make a case for him. I don't believe in that Pulitzer Prize whatsoever. I've seen some people being winners of that, awarded that Pulitzer Prize, and I was like, give me a bucket, I need to throw up right now. And so for me, but anyway, maybe Pulitzer Prize meant something in 1969, 68, 70, when he broke the news on the My Lai massacre in Vietnam by the US Army. And that's one side. These guys showed up and said, this is what happened. United States, according to Hersh and his anonymous source, that the United States organized it, planned it, did it with the help of Norway at one point. Yes, the country of Norway. And then the fingers and the eyes were directed towards the United States of America. And guess what? United States of America obviously denied involvement when Hersh came with his thing and called everyone crazy who might think that that little conspiracy theory, And then they came in about 2 weeks with their version all of a sudden. So they kept quiet for about 5 months. They got attacked by the revelations from Seymour Hersh. And in 2 weeks, bam, they came with another version. They didn't let that to Seymour Hersh's version to sink in or spread. I have to tell you that the mass media in the United States did not run with Seymour Hersh's breaking news. Nah, they ignored it like it was a cadaver. I was thinking, oh my God, whoo-hoo. When the intelligence community in the United States of America came, as I said, in 2 weeks or something with their version, the mass media here, like a button, a switch was turned, was yes, this is what the US intelligence, credible, tells us that this and that. It was a group of 6 people, 5 men and 1 woman, diversity. I guess there were like 3 midgets and 3 giants as well, and some fat, some thin, some blue-eyed, some brown eyes, some black eyes, some racially diverse, I don't know, sexually diverse, all that they identified as cows and pigs, I don't know. But anyway, something like that. And they came with this story, the intelligence community, US, that is so interesting. It's like I gave this analogy many times. It's like you walk through a dark, outside, a little street, very narrow, and people poop over there. Usually in Romania, it used to be like that. That's why I'm... So, people poop over there. It's dark, oh man, nothing open. So it's a lot of them over there. They are. It's dark, and you have to cross that little narrow passage. And it's like... That's how you do it. And you get on the other side and you're like, shit, Anyway, so that the Americans were looking at this and say, okay, we have so many shits here that we should not jump in. So we're going to be perfect in bringing the evidence, our investigation, in such a way that will avoid all the shits, which means they were not Russians. We avoid that one. They're not Western Europeans, we avoid that one. They were not Ukrainian government, avoid that one. So what were they? They were not FBI, CIA, KGB, MI6, Mossad, or anything like that. It was not a governmental institution or anything like that. It was some private individuals. Okay, so we dodged a lot of shit in the... Okay? Then, second one, they were diverse. Yay! Because they celebrate that one. They celebrate the explosion. So they have to make the heroes like in the Hollywood movies where you have, somebody is fighting in Vietnam and whoops up, a woman is over there too. Or a this or a that or a that. You know, you have to include all of them. So it's inclusion, diversity, and equity. So in the name of all these things, they inserted a woman. Okay, you need women. Not only for that, you need for many things. You need for many things, you know. Now, these guys, what they say they did, they act privately. They were not associated with any government, not with the Ukrainian government. Dodge that shit. Not with the Russians, not with anybody else. We don't know their names. Dodge that shit. All right? We just know somehow that they are Ukrainians. How in the hell you know you're Ukrainians but you don't know their names? Who used fake passports or something like that to get into Germany or something, or then they hired a yacht from Poland, all right? And with that yacht, they put about 1,000 kilograms of explosives in that yacht through the Europe. The 1,000 or to 1,500 kilograms of explosive went through Europe. It was loaded into the yacht. The yacht did not have a crane of any kind. Did not have a decompression, air decompression pressure. You know, decompression chamber. You know, when you go down, you dive. When you come back up, you need to come back to the pressure that you are around here. Going over there, it's a lot of pressure. You need to go gradually. You can't do it in a second because there's some little bubbles of air that's going to be developing, and then that goes to your pick and all right. So that's what it is. So they didn't have that, this little yacht. And these guys have to be very experienced, like military trained and with military equipment, to be able to go 80 meters, 80 multiplied by 3, okay? So we go what? About 250, I say 250 feet. You go underneath with all the how do you call it, explosive. You plant it over there, big explosive, not like this you see in the movies, you know, and then you, let's go. Not like that. It has to be a big thing over there. All right, so everything is so as the German, and I will mention that guy, a German, he works in the security services or something like that. I will mention his name in this article that I have it ready. I'm not lying to you. Okay, and that guy said this must have been done by a state or an organization that works within, like a department, like an association. How do you want to call it? So anyway, this is how the story went, and those guys did everything perfect. Everything perfect. It's movie. It's Hollywood. But hey, people watch movies, so yeah, man, I would watch that movie. So anyway, here we go. Not me, but anyway, we have this article coming from the Russians. Who else is interested? Nobody else is interested anymore to find, hey, is it credible? Let's analyze it. Is it credible? No, they just dumped this information. The weasels over there with below 86 IQ, oh yeah, it must be true. They don't question a lot of things. So here we have the German media starting questioning certain things in this little story. And Sputnik. So let's look at this article and discuss what question could arise from the story. Just a few problems. So, Nord Stream sabotage. From today, the 12th of March 2023. Nord Stream blast. German media debunked, and I'm quoting, pro-Ukrainian group story the same week it appeared. German center-right newspaper Bild has insisted that the mainstream media story that the Nord Stream pipeline were destroyed by a team of 6 operating from the Andromeda, a 15-meter chartered yacht, is becoming increasingly dubious. Earlier this week, the New York Times and Die Zeit, the Time, claimed that new intelligence has traced the Nord Stream sabotage attack to a pro-Ukrainian group consisting of 5 men and 1 woman who used a yacht rented in Poland. The vessel was later found by German investigators and turned out to be the Andromeda, a Bavaria C-50 sailing boat. The group reportedly embarked on their mission from Rostock on September 6, 2022. The equipment for the secret operation excusez-moi, was allegedly transported to the port in a truck. Through Europe. Okay. However, this theory soon started to fall apart at the seams. German newspaper Der Spiegel was the first to cite apparent discrepancies. Bild doubled down on debunking the story. Immediately after the explosions, Denmark and Sweden concluded that the blasts were equivalent to a power of several hundred kilograms explosive, or according to some estimates, 1,500 to 2,000 kilograms. Now, if you want to know how many pounds, you multiply it by 2 and a little bit, okay? So that will be about 4,000 pounds, more than 4,000 pounds, and more between 3,000 and 4,000 pounds on explosive. Experts are skeptical whether a 15-meter chartered yacht could carry such a load. Furthermore, the Andromeda does not have a crane to hoist such quantities safely into the water, according to media. Now, this is interesting. This is something I said many times before. Nord Stream enigma deepens as OSINT analyst finds mystery tanker hung around explosion site for weeks. There's another thing. They have all these tracking things from the satellite. They knew who was who. That's why I said in a week they would have known who was around there and when. I don't know if this is a tanker or not, but anyway, you don't go over there and you just stay with your little Andromeda yacht for 10 minutes, you drop everything and you leave. You gotta be hanging out over there for some time. You know what I mean? You need to be a day or two at least, and nobody has any problems with you over there. Another problem is that the site of the explosion, the Baltic Sea, is about 80 meters deep. As I said, multiply with 3 and a little bit, and you find out how many feet. That's about 250 feet deep, which requires a special diving equipment, including air tanks with a helium-oxygen mixture and pure oxygen. All in all, one would need 30 liters divided by 4, and you find out the gallons of a special gas, about 4 gas divided by 4, basically, okay, something. So about 7 gallons about of gas mixture for one dive alone, which means there must have been dozens of bottles on board. In addition, there should have been a decompression chamber for the divers, something the yacht is not fit for. Furthermore, it would have taken several dives and a few days to lay the explosives on the pipelines. It is hard to imagine that these activities would have gone completely unnoticed. Experts say, I agree with that. I mean, likewise, it appears to be nearly impossible to covertly transport this amount, 1,500 to 2,000 kilograms of explosives, through Poland and Germany. I don't know if that's really impossible, but I don't know what kind of methods of detection they have over there. So, cracks also appeared in the theory that the attack was conducted by some unaffiliated volunteer group of either Russian or Ukrainian origins. On March 10, the chairs of the Bundestag, this is important here, Intelligence Oversight Committee Konstantin von Notz from the Green Party told Die Zeit that what happened on September 26, 2022 was likely a state-backed act of terrorism. State-backed act, okay, it's more likely that the sabotage was conducted by a, and I'm quoting, state or quasi-state actor, end quote, von Notz insisted. According to the German lawmaker, it would be very demanding to transport the military explosives up to 2 tons, he believed, undetected to the right place in the Baltic Sea and then bring them to the relevant depth in order to trigger several explosions in a controlled manner. Von Notz noted that the, and I'm quoting, state-backed act of terrorism makes it more likely that false or deceptive clues were laid. In early February, Pulitzer Prize, now they tell us what they say here, who did it, whatever, the Americans. I don't know who did it, but when you investigate something, and some of us have that expertise, you go and you start with putting forth or coming up with some alternate hypotheses, and then you go by that and you discard them. Now when you find or you look for information, sometimes you discard a hypothesis not only by by discarding the possibility. Like for instance, how do you find out in this scheme of whatever that it was who's the most probable, and you discard it? Okay, could it be Japan? And you think, why would be Japan? So you discard Japan from the whole equation because Japan really or has a very, very unlikely chance to be part of the thing, okay? Or let's say Zimbabwe, my friends. I don't think there was a Zimbabwe over there, okay? They didn't. But you go, okay, who has an interest? That you, by elimination, you remain with a smaller number. So the problem here, we remained with, I think, the number one suspect, according to all the information, including statements from the American politicians, Biden, Victoria Nuland, what's his name, I don't know if it was Blinken, how happy they were. And they were gonna stop the Nord Stream 2 and so on. Remember, all that's on camera. So they are, I think, and who benefits again, che bono. It's another way of starting an investigation. You always use it. When you investigate a crime, you start with who benefits. Who would benefit? The insurance company or the husband, the wife, the whomever. And then you start from there. And go from there. So the same here, who would benefit? Russia would benefit, Germany would. I mean, you can find way on top of everybody else. Number 1, number 2, and number 3 spots, they're all covered by the same country. And maybe number 4 is Great Britain and so on. So it's just start like that. And I don't know who did it, but this story with these guys for me is so childish, so infantile. But it doesn't surprise me. Because they didn't make this story for you or I. They made it for their audience. The audience they are trying to focus on and try to bombard with this and try to get them, it's the ones that are 13-year-old level, below 86 IQ. Those are the ones, not you or I. So the questions are more than these questions. The Americans, there's so many suspicious timings. They show up 2 weeks after they were pointed out, you are the ones. Until then, they didn't come. Did Seymour Hersh know? Did he know that the Americans already are about to tell us who did it? And therefore, he just beat them to the finish line, coming first with the news. Hey, it was those guys. Do you think that guy had this kind of information? I mean, he's a genius then. And if he has this kind of information, then you have to give him the, how should I put it, the ability to have the information that he came with. I mean, you can't just say he has the information from the government, but he doesn't have the other information that comes from the government as well. Because his unnamed source supposedly is within the government. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to get information and so on. The unnamed source. So here it is, my friends. It's very interesting how the West and how these guys are not finding whomever did it, including the Denmark, Sweden, and Germany. And Germany wants to get. Probably they know, but I personally think is 99% certain they know who did it, but they will not say it. Why? Because they would have to change a lot of things. Even if they say yes, it was. Let's say I'm just saying it. They say, well, it's United States of America. United States of America. Do you think it's going to be blushing? Do you think that Denmark, Germany, and Sweden, we're going to say, oh, turn up our back on you because you're so bad? No, because they're caught by the little balls. What are you doing? What? Germany, no balls. So this is just Sweden and Denmark. Germany, you just tap on underneath there. Puck, 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 puck. It has no balls. So I don't know how you do it with that. But anyway, maybe like Trump, grab them by the... You see, I'm derailing. So here it is, man. I think they already know who did it. And nothing would change. And even if they say it was United States of America, they will come with a justification, again, for those below 86 IQ supporters or, yeah, man, I think he's right. Yeah, we did it. Yeah, it's for our freedom. Yes. They don't like our freedom. Remember, I always go back to that September 11 attacks They were why do they hate us? Why did they do this to us? And the answer was provided, they hate our freedoms. Yeah, man, yeah. Yeah, I think it was that. Everybody was was like, can't be so dumb. Yes, it was. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.